All right, welcome back, everyone, to the second installment of the Riding the Couch podcast. I'm Michael. Joined with me are Jack and Gordon. Say what's up, guys.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. And yes, big thing, you can finally see our faces. The last episode, the video was a little corrupted, so we end up not being able to use it. And so now you can finally match our faces to the cartoons of the logo. And, by the way, just like to say before we get things started, shout out to Joe Leapforth, aka our graphic design team. He does tremendous work. He made this beautiful logo. He's done logos for me in the past. He does stuff for his own. He has a sticker, I think, online that you can buy. He does it all, and he does it all very well. So give him a call if you ever need some graphic design work. That's our sponsor. So first segment, let's get it rolling right away. As leagues, over the past week or so, a lot of leagues have come out with start times as to when they want to ideally start the season. And obviously, you can't predict if that's a for sure thing because nobody knows. With leagues like that, what do you think leagues should do? How do you think leagues will look after this lockdown?
Well, I mean, I can start talking a little bit about MLB. I saw that they came out with some owners and some leadership up there, said that they may do regional divisions. So there's 30 teams in the MLB, may split it up by 10s to kind of keep the travel and maybe just designate a couple stadiums. I don't think we're going to be seeing fans, but that you could be looking to that as we near maybe July and August. And then into the NBA, I would say that, workouts need to start, players need to get in shape. So we still got a little while to go.
Yeah, MLB looking like it could just be madness. They're out here saying they'll play in like only 3 states, those 3 divisions. I saw that. And at a certain point, if MLB's doing this type of stuff where they're making it weird with no fans and they're playing in these like different divisions, you may as well do all the rule changes that they're always proposing with the robot umps and the DH and both leagues and all that stuff. Just put it all for 1 year. Make it the wackest, like a circus of a league. And then you see what works, what doesn't.
My question is like, if the MLB like has some really weird season, or if it does end up getting canceled for whatever reason, how does that affect like player contracts and stuff like that? Because I don't know how you're supposed to, like designate contracts because players age, so you can't just like say, oh, the contract will just, that year will be void.
That's what I'm thinking too. Does everyone just get an extra year, or is it just like the Dodgers who gave up Alex Verdugo, who's one of the top prospects, for Mookie Betts? Are they suddenly just not going to get him at all on the team? He's just going to be a free agent, and the Dodgers are going to be like, well, we just got screwed, and there's nothing that we can do about it.
And then going to like soccer, I saw a notification from Bleacher Report today that the French are trying to convince all the leagues to not resume league play until like August. So I guess that means cancel the rest of the season. And that would be absolutely wild if that ends up happening, if they cancel the rest of soccer for the year. That would be crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, PSG obviously are in the Champions League out in France, and France are done with their domestic play. And PSG are literally offering to play anywhere. I mean, they want the chance. And so it'll be very interesting to see. I mean, the Eredivisie got scratched. That's a pretty major league. That's the Holland soccer league. So we'll see. And then the question would be, how do you determine a winner? For example, Eredivisie, they gave qualifications as they should to the Europa League and Champions League in the normal spots, but they didn't crown a champion. And then so in the Premier League, does Liverpool after we thought that nothing could stop them finally, and they would finally break their little curse, the one thing that could stop them is a virus that means the season gets canceled. So
Liverpool, I feel like that's not a very hard issue to just give them the title. They were going to win it anyway.
I think maybe once play resumes in places, the only thing I could see happening is a tournament almost. Like literally a March Madness style. Maybe you do this. Maybe you take your your bottom two off the Prem, 19 and 20. You promote your and those two go against 1 and 2 in the EFL Championship, and then you go about your normal tournament from 3 through 6 for that, last promotion bid, and you do some sort of bracket thing, a couple games, right at the start of the season to literally decide it. But the problem is there will be complaints somewhere, because
no matter what,
if you're the 7th place team and you miss out on 1 point and you had a game of hand, nobody will ever know. So it's a disaster. They're going to have to figure something out where most of the teams agree, because I think in every single situation, a team gets screwed. But I also, because of the money and TV rights, I don't think that you can do that as a league. I don't think that you can say these 3 teams get to stay up another year.
Will Chehab, aka the Young XP, coming out with the COVID collection. It comes out today, streaming on all platforms. And we did sit down with him. We have a great interview with him, and let's get to it. All right, we now welcome on William Chehab, aka the Young XP, up-and-coming rapper, has his new album coming out today. It's called The COVID Collection. He made it in how many days?
About 4 weeks.
3rd solo album. And so, obviously, being called The COVID Collection, it's inspired by this time you've had in quarantine. Did you have any outside inspirations that you looked at while making these songs?
Well, someone who I definitely like to listen to a lot is Kanye West. I feel like his production and his creativity with songs is something I sometimes try and mimic. I mostly listen to a lot of alternative rock and songs that kind of deviate away from rap to try and find different sources of outside inspiration.
Okay, yeah, we can tell you listen to Kanye because on the song Destination, you blatantly ripped off Dublin in a New Dress, one of Kanye's most famous songs. So what are you going to do if Kanye approaches you, his team approaches you in a lawsuit?
Well, I guess I would have to settle, and I would just be in awe that I get to meet Kanye. I think it would be a win for me, actually.
What if it's just his lawyer? What if it's just his lawyers and not actually Kanye, and you just meet his goons that just sue you for all your money? How will you handle that?
Well, it's not like he has that much money to take. I guess I'd be broke. I would definitely take the song down from these streaming services, but hopefully my own lawyer connections could help me out. Tough questions, my God.
All right, so Will, I've got another question for you, Sir Young XP. What has driven you to make a 3rd version of Fake Fans? Were the first 2 so successful that they warranted the release of a 3rd?
Well, the first one was successful enough for the release of a 2nd, but I made the first one on GarageBand with a terrible mic, and one of my best friends, this guy Justice, he lives in Germany. He's like my soulmate. This guy, he really loves Fake Fans. It was like his favorite song I'd ever made. The quality is terrible. You can find it on SoundCloud, but it's just not. I don't even know if you can find it on SoundCloud anymore, but it's just not that good. And I was going to re-record the whole song in high quality just for my friend Justice. But I decided instead I already made a Fake Fans 2 on a project just for fun. But I decided for Fake Fans 3, instead of re-recording the first Fake Fans, I would up the lyricism, up the energy, and up the quality and make an actual playable song that's a Fake Fans. That just happens to be the 3rd.
So I guess my next question for that is, obviously we've had on the label New Wave Music and Media, we've had a big hit, Two Face. It just hit 4,000. That's
right.
my own work. I'm very proud and thank you for that. But is Fake Fans 3, could that compete? Do you have a song in the album that could compete and hit over 4,000 plays?
Fake Fans 3 possibly could. Maybe Lockdown, Destination, or Cruisin' could be songs that could do well. Cruisin' hasn't had a great start as a single, but maybe it'll catch on as the album is released. But definitely if one of those songs lands on a playlist, they could do well.
All right, related question. So being the founder of this label, you've seen the rise of some artists on this label kind of surpassing your own success. Do you see this as kind of a students rising above the teacher, or I guess in your case, student teacher?
I actually think it's awesome that these people are doing so much better than me, because these people come to my house. I don't just record music, but I produce, I engineer, I mix and master these people's songs so that they're ready to be put out on these platforms. So I'm just ecstatic and elated when a song like Two-Face or COD by George Peretti ends up doing way better than I would have expected it to do, because I was in the room during that process of making it. So selfishly, I can say that I contributed to that song, but unselfishly, these are my friends. These are people who I want to make it big. These are people who have supported me since the beginning. And I feel like to get jealous would just be just like a terrible thing to do, especially because these people are here to support me. I want to support them.
Mm-hmm. And I would say on those songs, what really stands out to me, especially with this album and being a devoted fan, your production quality has gone exponential growth. It seems to be kind of the highlight of these albums. So do you see in the future yourself moving into producing more, or are you the ones who wants to be dropping the bars?
Well, I mean, it's always fun to write and drop the bars. I originally started rapping as a way just to express myself. That's just kind of what I did in middle school. But then I would love to move more into producing. My little brother, JJ, he's actually a much better producer at making rap beats that rappers can really go hard on. He has all these artists calling him day and night, and he makes beats as little as 20 minutes. Kid's a beast.
So, Youngsby, I have another question for you. I was hoping you could shed a little bit of light onto the situation involving Restless and, of course, the big song on that album, Festival Girl. Can you explain why that album was taken off of Spotify?
The real reason was the vocalist for Festival Girl. She knows who she is. We all know who she is.
Who is it? Can you reveal?
She revealed on her senior confessions for a close circle of people. I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say it. My publicist. Well, you said it, not me. But she really wanted the song taken down, and I felt like, as a friend of hers, I felt like it was only fair to finally respect her wishes. I also felt like the production quality on Restless was trash. Half the songs were made on GarageBand before I even knew how to mix the song. So half the vocals pop. It doesn't sound great. And after Expansion 3 release, where I finally learned how to really produce my own project front to back, mix and master it as best as I can, I felt like Restless was just so much farther below it. I had to just get it out of there. Still available on SoundCloud, though. Festival Girl lives on SoundCloud, YouTube, Deezer, Amazon Music. You can buy it, actually. Really just everywhere, but Apple Music and Spotify.
All right. We're now entering. We have a little game for you. We know you're a big Giants fan. We see the fat head. We see the hat. So we're going to just list you off some players on the Giants right now. See your initial thoughts. What's going on right now? What do you think of them? So, Gordon, you want to start this off?
Yeah, for sure. I want to hear your thoughts about Andrew Thomas, your big, stunning first-round pick.
I feel like as an all-SEC lineman, it definitely wasn't the worst person we could have picked. It might not have been the best, considering there were better linemen coming out of Bama and Iowa. But he seems like he could be a good pick. We need someone like him on the team. Hopefully he can shine in the pros.
And how about face of the franchise, some would say, Danny Dimes?
Daniel Jones, I love the guy. I've got girls in Colorado who tell me I look like him. I think he's great. He needs to work on ball security for sure. But I got to say, his accuracy, he proved that he can be an accurate passer. He proved in certain situations that he can come back from being down, that he can close games, and that he's not afraid to use his legs. So I feel like if he works on his ball security, a couple more years under his belt, maybe he'll do what Eli Manning did and take down Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
I guess I'll go for the other one, big Saquon's Barkley. What do you think about your star running back?
Love him. Unfortunate that he had that ankle sprain last year. I wish he would have recovered a little bit more before coming back. But now that we've had a good draft where we've gotten a lot of linemen, we can start to run Saquon not just up the pocket, but up the middle, but we can start running him in the mids and the outsides.
So another one for you. The Giants had a fairly quiet free agency, but just recently they made a big money signing in Colt McCoy. I want to know what you think about that signing.
Well, I feel like that's not the worst pick the Giants could have. They do need a backup quarterback. Maybe it'll give Daniel Jones someone to compete with instead of someone to mentor him, because Eli felt more like a mentor to Danny Dimes this season. But if Colt McCoy and Danny Dimes can push each other to be better quarterbacks, then I'm all for it.
True. You never know. Colt McCoy can make the Pro Bowl. In other team news, what are your thoughts on Chris Peakrine? He held a party during the coronavirus pandemic, during the stay-at-home order. What are your thoughts on that?
I just can't stand that move, man. I mean, they put like boards on the basketball hoops outside, so I can't shoot a basketball. I mean, I'm so mad that I'm locked in the house, and to see people go out and have these parties where they're just going to spread like the infection. I just can't stand the fact that things like this are going to keep the majority who have been sacrificing longer.
That's
just
fair.
kind of frustrates me.
Good point.
The last thing we'll go with somebody who is staying inside, who is quarantining. He's been in the news on TikTok. Is the third string running back, not a big player. His name is Devin Bate. He got in some trouble recently. Charlie D'Amelio on TikTok duetted the third string running back doing the I guess I'm just a play date to you song. And then if viewers at home are unaware of the situation, the 23-year-old commented on her TikTok with heart emojis. It was the top comment, and now there's memes talking about, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Most people are familiar with the situation. What are your thoughts on Devin Bate?
Well, if Devin Bate meant the hearts as in like, thanks for getting me more followers because you duetted me in a very plutonic way, that'd be fine. But it looks not to be that case. Devin Bates, man, come on, you're in the NFL. You don't need a simp for Charlie D'Amelio. He's got to chill.
Yeah.
Respect. Age is more than just a number.
You could say you got baited.
He did get baited.
No, you did, because hate to break it to you, but Devin Bate and Krispy Kreme are not real players. You're on Live Witness News.
Yeah, I thought Krispy Kreme sounded a little odd, but I figured, you would try a third string running back. Who knows a third string running back? Okay, no one except for like the coaches know that far down the line, or Packers fans, because you guys always rotate.
We do got that three-headed monster.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess before we wrap up, we do wish you the best today, and we hope that you get a lot of streams. But
Thank you.
I mean, like you said, it's your third album solo. Maybe the last two didn't do totally as well as you wanted, but with this last one, if it doesn't do very well, is that it? Are you hanging up the boots as far as rapping?
I could never, but I can never. I'll be 80 years old dropping a single out of nowhere just for my day one fans. I want to be like Batman 2 when I retire.
I'll be waiting for that, man. That's
all right.
High anticipation.
Got about 60 years, but
yeah. Well, once again, we thank you a lot for being our first guest on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. All right. Again, COVID Collection coming out this Friday, which is today. And so everyone check it out, all platforms. It's the best album yet, he says. High standards. So now we're starting a new segment called Top Threes, where it's self-explanatory. You just simply give your top three on the given subject. It'll be a snake order around. So the opening topic, we're going with athletes that don't look their age, whether they're baby-faced or look like old men at 22. We're going through the top athletes in the world that don't look their age. And Jack, you want to start this one off?
Yes, I would love to. I'm going to start in football. When he came into the league from LSU, he's a running back. He looked old, and that's Leonard Fournette. He's bald, I think.
That's true.
He's got that beard going. And I mean, if you told me that this guy was, a 36-year-old veteran looking for a last 1 year deal, I would completely believe you. And it shocks me to find out that he is only 25 years old, and that at age 22, he still looked 34. So
all those carries wearing on him. All right, my pick, round one. Jack mentioned it in the previous episode. Actually, I went with Steven Adams, the center on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Man looks like a mountain man. He's been living in the woods for 20 years. He looks not 26. He's 26, has a full beard, long hair. I anticipated this guy was probably 32. And when I learned he was that young, and when he was an up-and-coming star a couple years ago, hello? Steven Adams? So I guess he's just built different in New Zealand, I think he's from.
All right, my first guy here is I've got another basketball player, and my guy is Cody Zeller. Oh my goodness! So I was just scrolling through, I was just literally looking up NBA rosters just to get a feel for some players, and I happened upon the Hornets and Cody Zeller. He's a 27-year-old, and if we'll get him on the screen now, his hairline and he just looks like he's maybe at least 38, 39, 40 years old. I mean, he just does not look like he's under the age of 28. I mean, he looks like an old lad. And then the second guy here, I went with the young one. I went with the young one. I went to the Bundesliga in soccer. I went with David Alaba. He's got a face, and it looks like he could still be, I don't know, like a teenager. He looks like an 18-year-old. So those were that was my number one and my number two right there.
All right. My next one, a forgotten guy. I don't know if he's still in some sort of league. I bet in the Turkish league playing hoops. Perry Ellis, back when he played for Kansas. It seemed like dude was playing there for probably 10 years. And at 22 years old, he had full recession of the hairline. He had the McDonald's logo type thing going. He looked like an absolute mess. He looked like he could have been the coach for that team. So, a forgotten one, but Perry Ellis.
So I'm going to go back to I'm going to go with somebody younger than us. We're all 17, 18. This kid is 16, so I guess we're talking a wonder kid here. We're going back to soccer. His name is Ryan Cherky. He's supposedly the next big thing. He's an Algerian kid that plays for Lyon. He was born August 17, 2003. He is 16 years old, and there, as you can see on your screen, I don't think he looks 16 whatsoever. He is somebody that I personally was shocked to find out is younger than me, was shocked to find out is 16, because he could be 23.
Well, those soccer wonder kids, when you're 16 playing at the high level of soccer, you're not 16. You're in reality like a 25-year-old. You're built like it. Walking around, if I saw you and you're, I'm a sophomore in high school, please, I would not believe it for a second. But Gio Reyna, the American out here playing in the Champions League, should be a junior in high school. Jack, did you have another one?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm debating between two here. So I'll throw in a quick honorable mention. I won't talk about him very much, but there's a Lazio 23-year-old, another soccer player, Joseph Manala, who had questions that he was actually at age 20, he looked about 35, maybe even 40. And people literally questioned whether that was his true birth. But I'll give somebody who I think has aged pretty well. And if we didn't know him so well and didn't know how many teams he's played for in the NBA, I don't think we would call him this old. Kyle Korver is 39 years old. He's a good-looking dude, and he could pass for 28. And he's looked the same for about 10 years. So he's about to hit 40. He doesn't look 40. I don't think so.
That is a good point. He has looked the exact same for a decade. If Jack's doing an honorable mention, I will too. My honorable mention, I'll mention not much about it. Grayson Allen, babyface, still looks like he could be in middle school. I remember in middle school when he beat Wisconsin. That was great. But we live on. My number 3 choice, Tiger Woods. The greatest golfer of all time, in many eyes. Dude with all those surgeries has aged 20 years in 5. He's 40 years old, I believe. 44, I think. He looks probably 55, somewhere around there. He's got the shagginess of his hair once he takes his hat off. He's got the little patch here of just thin hair that kind of spikes up. He's got the eternal bags under his eyes, the wrinkles down his face, pulling them all down. Dude is falling apart. Everything going wrong in his body has weighed down on his face.
Yeah, and then I'm going to throw in an honorable mention. Another soccer player, former Liverpool, Stoke City, and now he's on Reading, Charlie Adam. he looks really old. He's another guy with a totally receding hairline, and his teeth are just kind of far apart, and he's wrinkly. He just looks like an old guy. But my number 3, I'm gonna go with Langston Galloway. I don't think I've ever actually seen pictures of him, but he definitely looks like he could be someone's grandpa. His cheeks are really saggy, and I don't know, he looks totally like an old man. So that's my 3rd guy.
Also, Michael Jordan's mom, as we saw in the Last Dance documentary, she looks good for her age. Not an athlete, but associated.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Mike's treating her to a little plastic surgery, seems like.
Yeah, she's gotten some work done.
Yeah. All right. New segment we're introducing. We're going to close it out with this. We're calling it the pretzel question. It's the question that makes your mind work, leaves you confused, leaves your mind in a pretzel. So for our opening pretzel question, we're going with, what is worse, purgatory or hell? And for me, this seems like an easy answer. But purgatory, it's all psychological. You're in purgatory alone, waiting. Am I going up or am I going down? Am I going to the best or the worst? You're sitting there stressed out over it. The whole time your mind is working, you're confused. You're eventually driving yourself to insanity, being isolated, wondering what your fate is. Eventually, if you do get sent down to hell too, you realize purgatory was the best thing you ever had. And you took it for granted by going insane. And by going mentally insane, you drove yourself to physical harm. Stunned.
Oh, you got me thinking here.
Everyone is stunned.
I guess that's the right thing about the pretzel question here. So I guess I'll.
That was a confusing explanation, I admit.
Yeah, I guess I'd go the other direction. Do we know where we're going? Is that, or?
Well, that's the thing with purgatory. You don't know. You're stuck in the middle. And
so
am I
I'm
going to the tippy
to
top
hell.
with Kobe?
I'm guaranteed to hell, or I sit at purgatory.
What's in reality worse?
And okay. Dude, hell sucks, bro. Come on.
He puts it blunt.
I mean,
you know what? That's true. But at least you know what you're getting. Is my thinking of it.
You know, I truly wonder if you're going through it and you feel the same way that you were feeling as if you're in real life, or if it's a different sensation, or if there's a sensation at all. So that's a different argument. But I guess I would rather be in purgatory. So I think hell is worse.
True. I just saw they have the lowest expectations.
On Jack's page here, because like I'm gonna here's what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and make a little analogy here to like real life at the moment, right? For us as high school seniors, we are in purgatory, right? And there was before, like earlier this week, it was like, okay, we're like not gonna have graduation and it's gonna be terrible, or we could have graduation and it's gonna be fun. And for me, I'd rather be in the purgatory stage where we are now, where although it's like nothing and it sucks, like at least there's a chance you can have graduation, right? But if you're going to hell where there's just no graduation, that's beat. So like,
I'm not gonna lie, I did not follow that at all.
Did you understand what I was getting at, Jack, or not really?
Well, I guess the way I took it is you're saying we didn't have any clarity on our events, and we were in purgatory essentially, with knowing whether or not we were going to have prom or not. Yeah. And then we kind of ripped the Band-Aid off of the boo-boo there for a little bit and found out that we aren't going to do it, which is hell. And so it's a better feeling, some may say.
Oh, to not know your fate.
Yeah, or to have the chance of having a good fate. So I
yes.
would say hell's worse.
Now I got you. That's a good point. You'd rather have a little shred of hope.
Yeah.
I'm still sticking with mine. It's all, if my brain goes, my body goes. And I feel like my brain would go easily in purgatory.
I think ultimately it just comes down to whether you're like a pessimist or an optimist, like whether you're looking glass half empty, glass half full.
That's true. Depends on where you think you're going to go. Mind in a pretzel. And that wraps up the second episode. Thank you all for watching.
That's it.
We'll leave you with that to think for yourself. Let us know in the comments. DM us, message us, let us know your results to this question. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate you all watching, listening, whatever platform you're on. Have a nice rest of your week. Have a nice rest of your quarantine.